For, like, ever, there's been this one way to build a business, right? A set-in-stone playbook. But what if that entire playbook is just wrong? Today, we're going to tear into Rework, a guide to succeeding in business by, get this, doing less of what everyone tells you to do.
We've all heard this a million times. You know the drill. It's what every business course, every mentor tells you. Write this giant, super detailed business plan, map out your 5-year forecast, and then go find someone with a fat wallet to fund your dream. It's just conventional wisdom.
But Rework just stops you in your tracks and makes you ask a totally different question. What if that's the exact advice that's holding most people back? What if that real world everyone warned you about is actually just a trap?
Okay, so that leads us right into the first big myth we've got to tear down, the planning trap. And yeah, it's this belief that you can somehow predict the future just by sitting at your desk. I mean, look at the difference here. It's night and day. The old way is plan everything, but Rework just calls it what it is, guessing. Long-range plans? They're basically just fairy tales. Why? Because the second they hit the real world, poof, they're gone. And that real world that all the naysayers love to warn you about, the book says that's just a place where fresh, brilliant ideas go to get slaughtered.
Okay, this next one is huge. We're constantly told, fail fast, right? Learn from your mistakes. Well, Rework comes in and says that's totally overrated. Think about it. A mistake just tells you one way not to do something. It doesn't give you a clue about what you should do. But success? Success is different. That gives you a real, solid foundation you can actually build on. So what's the move then? What do you do instead? You execute. An idea is completely worthless until you actually start building something. It's just a thought. You got to focus on your wins and then double down on what's already working. That's the stuff you can actually repeat. And maybe the biggest thing is this. Stop letting other people's fears define what you can or can't do. It's your game. You get to make the rules. All right, so this leads us right into the next big myth. And honestly, this is probably the one that trips up most people who want to start something new. The money trap. You know the old advice. It's crystal clear. Go get funding. Pitch VCs. Find some angel investors. But Rework has this totally radical take on it. Outside money? That's Plan Z. I'm not kidding. Not Plan A, not even Plan B. It's the absolute last thing you should ever consider. And here's exactly why. The second you take cash from someone else, this whole chain reaction kicks off. First, you lose control. You just gave away a piece of your company. Then, all of a sudden, your decisions aren't about your customers or your product anymore. Nope, they're about hitting your investors' numbers on their timeline. Your whole mission just got hijacked. But here's the really empowering part. The truth is, you need way less than you think to get going. The barriers to entry have never been lower. You don't need a fancy office or a huge team. You can start small, you can start lean, and you can start right now with what you've got.
And, once you free yourself from that need for other people's money, you're also free from the insane pressure to just grow at all costs. Which, hey, brings us to our last myth, the growth trap. Rework makes a really important distinction here. You see, a startup, that word has come to mean being obsessed with endless expansion, right? Hiring like crazy, burning through cash to get users, and kind of shrugging and saying, we'll worry about profit later. But a business is focused on a much simpler and frankly more sustainable idea, being profitable and making your customers happy right from day one. I mean, just think about it. How many times have you heard a company brag about how many employees they have? Rework has a name for that. It's a vanity metric. Having 500 people on the payroll doesn't mean you're successful. A lot of the time, it just means you have more meetings, more overhead, and everything moves slower. The goal isn't to get big, the goal is to be great. And this way of thinking is a direct shot at that hustle culture that's glorified everywhere. The idea that you have to work 80-hour weeks to be a success, that it's some kind of badge of honor. But Rework says, nope, it's not heroic at all. It's a sign you're not working smart. It's a sign of inefficiency. Being a workaholic doesn't just burn you out, it literally kills your creativity and your ability to make good decisions. Your best ideas come when you're rested, not when you're exhausted. So it's not a sign of dedication, it's a symptom of a broken process. The whole point is to be effective, not just busy. Okay, so we've torn down all the old rules. What's left? What does the new playbook actually look like? Well, it's a lot simpler, a lot leaner, and way more focused than you probably think. Let's break down the essentials. The Rework Playbook.
First off, you have to ignore all those real-world naysayers. Second, scratch your own itch. Build something you actually need. That's the best way to know the problem is real and you're onto something. Third, stay small, lean, and profitable. Just resist that pressure to grow just for the sake of getting bigger. And finally, focus on building an actual business, one that's going to last and serve you and your customers, not a startup that's just a flash in the pan designed to serve investors.
Look, the old playbook is broken. It's obsolete. It was built for a different time with totally different rules. So the real question isn't about the playbook anymore. It's about you. With these new, simpler rules, what are you going to build? The only thing really holding you back is all that outdated advice you've been told to follow. So what are you waiting for?